Welcome to today's episode of Molecules to Medicine podcast. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are AI Jules, and we specialize in helping healthcare and life science companies scale their business and revenue and explore how AI is reshaping the industries and accelerating innovation. So, if you'd like to learn more about how to take your business to the next level, make sure you stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop us the word growth in the DMs and we'll get back to you. I'm your host, Hardeep, and we have a very exciting guest for you today, Brian Kaufman, the Vice President of Sales at Proliant Health and Biologics. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, thank you, Hardeep. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. Exciting stuff, man.
We're excited too. And where are you talking to us from today?
Coming to you live from Ankeny, Iowa, just north of Des Moines, the capital city of Iowa. We are a third-generation family-owned biotech company with manufacturing facilities in Iowa as well as in New Zealand. And we specialize in bioactive peptides and different proteins that we purify and are utilized in biotech space, mostly for diagnostics and cell culture therapeutics applications. We also have a nutrition suite, but if it blocks or it binds, we probably make it.
Fantastic. And tell us a bit about your background and your journey that led you to Proliant.
Gosh, it's definitely an interesting path. So I was born and raised in South Georgia. I'm from Augusta, Georgia, originally. I was a college athlete and then joined the military. Um, did my time in the United States Army, and as I was transitioning out, I've always had kind of a love for healthcare and total human optimization and the human body and everything like that in science. And I thought that maybe I wanted to be a doctor, but of course I was young and impulsive, and I wanted everything now, like we all do. And I said, well, you know what? I've already got my Common Core stuff. I can be a registered nurse and kind of help people and kind of scratch that itch. And I can still coach wrestling, which I still do today. I coach for the Ankeny Wrestling Club here in Iowa. And but I wasn't quite getting what I wanted, right? I wasn't going to the underlying cause of most of my patients' problems. I was just kind of managing symptoms. And so after about a year and a half as a nurse, so I specialized in neuro, so a lot of stroke patients and also GI. So a lot of IBS, Crohn's patients, and took that skill set and with the idea that I wanted to be a bigger part of healthcare. And so I switched to the dark side, so to say, and moved from bedside care to pharmaceutical sales. I specialized in broad spectrum antibiotics, worked mostly with GI and infectious disease patients. And then in 2014, I came on with Proliant Health and Biologicals. We were launching an immunoglobulin protein extract. It was a prescription medical food for IBS, Crohn's, and ulcerative colitis. And it was just doing amazing things. And it was going to the underlying cause of most of my patients' problems. And it was new and novel, and no one was doing this, right? And it was such a cool approach to managing dysbiosis in the gut and giving people their life back,
Mm,
without causative drugs that were just masking symptoms. We were really, really helping people.
yeah.
And I figured out really, really quick working for Proliant that is what we do. We innovate, we find the new solution that is the future of medicine. We're the world's largest manufacturer of bovine serum albumin. It's a
Uh-huh.
very, very specific plasma protein that blocks and binds. What most people would know is if they worked in labs, but it's in everything, right? It's in so many diagnostic tests. One that most people know about is lateral flow assays, or the most common one, which is a pregnancy test, right? Urine goes on the stick. Inside that stick is some bovine serum albumin that blocks all of the other proteins so that you can accentuate that HCG protein to show that you're pregnant.
Oh, brilliant. You touched a bit on there about what Proliant Health and Biologics do. So tell us a bit more about the business and the products you're working with and who your customers and who do you do it for?
Sure. Right. So, what we do is we manufacture the building blocks that go into the products that shape healthcare worldwide. So our diagnostics division, they're all plasma proteins and things like that that block or feed to develop uh, drugs and vaccines. Um, And then on the nutrition slide, we have some animal proteins, that immunoglobulin that I was telling you about. That prescription medical food is still out on the market. It's doing absolutely great. It's called Intergam. But I was able to license and commercialize a lower dose of it and launch as a raw ingredient. And I've actually formulated probably about 150 products across the world, all centered on gut health and immune support. Um, so we build the building blocks that go into the medicines and the vaccines and the devices that shape healthcare. And we're always innovating. So
Uh-huh.
that's one thing I'm really, really excited about right now. We're launching a recombinant human albumin, right?
Right.
And there's only two companies in the whole world that do this, and they do a fantastic job. And we're going
Mhm.
to be the third one. So big shoes to fill, but we've got an amazing R&D and manufacturing team and marketing team that is going to launch this. And this is the future of medicine, right? These are non-animal sequential peptides that are the same every single time. The problem with using animal proteins right now in cell culture media to grow vaccines or drugs or things like that is that it's an animal protein. It's variable, right? There's the supply chain, there's the animal itself. Um, and so if we can do that recombinantly and it's the same every single time, we can be more efficient. We can increase our load sizes and essentially help, manufacture more product and help more people in the healthcare space.
Okay, so it's quite a broad spectrum of products that you produce for different, say, medical devices there, in vitro diagnostics,
Yep.
pharmaceutical products. Just I'm just thinking about when I used to work at Abbott, we used to make blood glucose monitors. So a lot of electrochemistry. Would that be another industry that you would provide in terms of producing those strips? Is that something that
Uh,
could work?
I would say in the same vein, it
Yeah,
actually was one of our customers.
yeah,
So on the IVD side, we sell them bovine serum albumin that goes
uh
into various medical devices that block or accentuate.
yeah,
Possibilities are endless,
are
especially
endless.
with a non-animal protein sequence like that. We're also launching colostrum, right? So you're like, okay, really heavy in biotech, but you're launching colostrum, which is a nutritional ingredient. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, what does all this have in common? We see the market and we see what the future of innovation is, and then our
yeah,
R&D team and our production team get to work, right? We knew that the future of in vitro diagnostic assays and cell culture media is animal free. We're still going to offer those products because they're going to be legacy products. They're going to be used in a lot of lower in assay development and things like that. But the future, the tests that tell your grandmother that she gets Alzheimer's 2 years before she starts showing symptoms, that's what we're working.
mhm. And is there any specific problem that Proliant Health Biologics solve? I know you're supplying a lot of almost reagents and compounds to fit into different products, but
Uh-huh.
are you noticing any specific problem that where companies are actually coming to you, or is it just simply, you know what, let's use a vendor to supply certain things that they may be able to actually produce themselves? Big players
Well,
like Abbott, they could
no,
probably
no,
do
no,
it.
no. That's a very, very good point, and that is where we stand out, right? There are many companies that manufacture bovine serum albumin. We have been doing it the longest. We have the largest facilities in two different countries, and we wrote the book on fractionating proteins, right? So when you come to Proliant, you might be able to get something cheaper from someone else, but if you want lot to lot consistency, you want to be able to trace back every element of production. What you're sourcing BSA for to go into is going to be utilized on a daily basis in healthcare. There's no room to go with a less performative product.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why they trust us. We have the largest lots. We have the largest lot to lot consistency. What you get is the same every single time.
Right, great. And you shared an example there with the pregnancy tests, which I guess is probably pretty standard, right? Where your products are worked. Is there anything that's outside of the box that you've done recently, or that was that you had to really think outside the box yourselves in order to solve a problem for a client?
Well, I mean, what we're doing with the recombinant human albumin right now. Again, there's two companies that are out doing it already. They're doing a fantastic job, but they don't have the ability to scale like we do. And it's precision fermentation. And It always goes well in a petri dish or a vial. But when you start scaling that,
Uh,
right, to mass quantities so that you can meet demand,
yeah.
problems can happen. And so every step of the way, we've hit hiccups, knowing that they were gonna happen so that we could troubleshoot that system and lay the groundwork and the foundation for what it's gonna take to really solve that problem worldwide.
So you got a long established manufacturing plant or
So
plants, to produce these to scale. Okay, great. And what's the biggest challenge or bottlenecks that you're facing right now?
the biggest challenge that we're facing right now, oh gosh, our own, impulse to get it done now, right? I mentioned those hiccups.
Yeah.
Anyone I mean, you work for Abbott, right? If you're looking at different companies' websites and you go to the pipeline page. If you monitor that pipeline page, things move, right?
Uh,
Because a hose was left not quite turned all the way, or the temperature wasn't right, or precipitation, or issues with supply chain, right? All of these things kind of happen, and I'd say those are kind of some of the challenges, but they are, I always say I either win or I learn, right? And when you have struggles or you have, adversity, it just gives you the opportunity to learn for something better later.
yeah, great. And so what makes Proliant Health Biologicals different from others trying to solve the same problem? You mentioned you got one big competitor there, and there's loads of smaller companies that are doing it.
Yep.
I mean, what makes you different? It sounds like you were almost first to market with a lot of these things, way back when in producing these.
Definitely on the BSA side for sure. Again, we're definitely not first to market with colostrum. We're definitely not first to market with our RHA offering launched this year. A lot of trust and a lot of
Mhm,
history. We had meetings with Thermo Fisher. We regularly do innovation days with companies like Siemens and, offer opportunities to partner with them to build that next innovation. And it's because they've got 25 years history with us.
mhm,
A great example of that is Remicade, right? Remicade is a amazing biologic drug that's been on the market and been effective, for 40 years, for 30 years.
yeah,
We produce a very, very specific albumin product just for them that goes into the growth media for that drug.
okay,
And so when you have those long-term partnerships and that trust and the ability to reach out and get problems solved efficiently and quickly, and that partnership, it lasts forever. I
mm,
truly believe that are, relationships and friendships are the most valuable things you can have in business.
okay. So with these partnerships then, so they are contacting you to help them develop certain problems that they're having with their R&D of a certain products?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so are all your clients these super huge companies, Thermo
Oh,
Fisher?
absolutely not, right? Our top ones are, these big guys, but it could be, um, a lab out in Tacoma, Washington, that's doing some really, really cool stem cell, research at the university there, right? They want non-animal protein, albumin. Recombinant albumin is for them, right? We're not selling truckloads of it to them. Maybe it might be a gram or 2, but we also make sure that we increase our relationships with them because a lot of times they're on the forefront of innovation and medicine and things like that.
And then once they get a product that actually gets on into the market or a big pharma takes over, that
Mhm.
relation will continue to that big pharma company where you're supplying that product, right? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. It's good to hear that you're supporting those small startups as well.
Well, those are
Um,
the ones I'm looking for. Those are my favorites. When I go to
oh, right.
trade shows
Yeah.
and things like that, so we got, ADLM, one of the largest IVD biotech trade shows in the world, is in Anaheim, in July. And one of my 2 favorite stops are the poster section, right? So this is all the new research that's just been published.
Mhm.
Usually you got your research scientists from companies, but also from many, research institutions that are showcasing their work, and that's where you can kinda see, where the future is a lot of times you can find that gem in
Mhm.
the middle of the mud, and you're like, "Wow, we need to get involved in that. How do we start working with them?" Or it's 2 PhDs that have been working on a particular bioactive peptide strain for 25 years, and they finally got it right, and they're showcasing it at this show, right? You get to
Yeah.
really, really see the future of medicine right then and see opportunity.
Amazing. I mean, that must be really exciting, actually, to see that because science develops so quickly and so innovatively. And, to be able to actually not only learn about what's happening in science, but actually try to get involved in it must be quite fulfilling.
It is fulfilling, but it's like trying to drink from an open fire hydrant, and that's why we have to use, or it's gotten a lot easier with a lot of AI tools and things like that to quickly scrub data to see if it's peer reviewed, where it was done, what it's on, so that you can kind of focus your time on what's most important.
Yeah. So for yourselves, then the biggest opportunities for innovation or impact is actually identifying those new companies, right? Or those PhDs or those startups or that spin-offs from universities that are actually on the forefront of, and the cutting edge of science, for you guys to then partner with to be able to produce that next level of product.
Absolutely, we're problem solvers. We
Great.
just also happen to have 30 years of history and amazing manufacturing facilities where all we've done is fractionate proteins and protein purification.
And do you partner with any universities as well?
We partner with many universities on various clinical trials. We have a full lab on site here in Iowa, and just an amazing R&D team. But there's always things that are maybe outside of our own scope of practice, and
Uh-huh.
our ego's not so big. We go, you know what? They're the leaders in this. Let's support them, learn from them, and also be a part of that research.
And in terms of AI, what I mean is big in that right now. It seems to be on the news every day. Is it something you've explored at the moment as a company, or is it something you're looking into, or are you using it at the moment already?
Well, absolutely. About 2 years ago, we made a commitment as a leadership team to let more data drive our decisions.
Mhm.
um, get organized, follow our KPIs, and then do extensive after action reviews on the data that we get so that we can make decisions faster. It made us more efficient, helped us reduce budget, reduce lead times, make better product, make larger lots of product. We're
Uh-huh.
really excited about that, but also for sales and marketing about how we target and how we message and how that messaging is going to resonate with the consumers. So for in our case, our consumers are that R&D, that product development team, that research scientist that's up in Boston, working for Thermo, cracking his head going, I can't get this to work, right?
Uh-huh.
It helps us understand those types waves in innovation and what's going on in the market so that we can take a step back and go, okay, should we be involved in this? We have the expert. Do we have the expertise? Is it a market that we want to go after? Is it a market that we can make a real impact on?
Uh-huh.
Because that's being third generation family owned. That's a big part of our ethos, right? Is shaping health worldwide by providing the building blocks to the products that patients take every day.
And what does growth look like for you? Are you still a company that's still actively looking to grow every day?
Absolutely.
How does that look for you over the next 12 months to 5 years?
Over the next 12 months, well, I've got these 2 product launches, so we've got to get those across the finish line.
Right.
We're launching the recombinant human albumin. There's gonna be a diagnostic and a therapeutic, kind of different strain. What separates them is gonna be purity and protein percentage. Um, Therapeutic assays and cell culture developments need a higher purity, and so we've got a differentiator there. And then for colostrum, this is a booming market right now. What we're going to do that's going to be a little bit different is we're specifically offering New Zealand grass fed only colostrum, so it's going to be the highest purity. It's going to be guaranteed spec'd at over 20% IgG, which is the active that makes it do what it does, and kind of go into a crowded market of good products and be a great product.
Okay, so lot of work coming ahead.
A lot of work coming ahead. We're also looking to increase our raw material supply. So we're going through various negotiations there. You get to capacity, you gotta scale your raw material supply in order to scale your finished product. So that's a big goal for us. And then, as I mentioned before, with the largest manufacturer of BSA, we're looking to for specific assays that recombinant human albumin is not the best fit for, but bovine serum albumin is. We want to develop a recombinant version of that so you can get the same performance that you get from bovine serum albumin, but in an animal-free form, which is going to be a lot more consistent, and then also, none of the regulatory hurdles that you get with certain countries that don't want
Mm.
animal products in their vaccines and things like that.
And what about finding those new gems or those rough diamonds out there?
Definitely
How
trade
do you
show
do that?
work. I'm a little old school. I got a bunch of Google AdWords that I get alerts on. But honestly, really digging into AI. I mean, it's getting better every day. I feel like it's understanding me better, so it's answering my questions better, helping me organize data better, which then makes our team better. We can target better, and really be more efficient about who we get in front of to pitch these ideas and opportunities to get across the finish line.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good to hear. That's good to hear. And so you mentioned trade shows, and so that's probably your bread and butter in terms of finding these companies, would you say? And you're
I
using
would,
AI
I would
alongside it?
say I would say it's the best version today. Now
Uh-huh.
that's going to change. After COVID, everyone thought that we would never go back to trade shows and things like that. And lo and behold, trade shows made a huge comeback. Now, you may not do as much face to face traveling as we did previously, but there's nothing like getting in the room with someone that you've been working with electronically, getting to understand them better so that you can serve them better.
Uh-huh.
The partnership, the trust, that's how you build that. That's why Siemens and Abbott come back to us after
Mhm.
25 years to work on projects because we've got that history and that trust.
Yeah.
And you just can't do that all the time through Zoom. It's very, very effective, but trade shows still have a lot of value.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Well, thank you very much, Brian. And where can people learn more about Proliant Health and Biologics and get in touch with
Sure.
your team? Should
You
they?
can follow us on LinkedIn. We do have an Instagram page. It's a little bit more nutrition focused. Um, and then obviously you can go to www.phb1.com and you can search clinical data. You can request service from a rep. You can look at all of our innovation and look through all of the particulars of each product and kind of build what you need.
Well, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Brian. Very interesting. Anybody who would like to get in touch with Brian and his team or learn more about Proliant, please follow the information just given there. And all the best, Brian. I'll keep an eye out on the business and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a great day, sir.